All right. What's up, friends? We're back in 24 frame per second, 4K. It's going down. Today, we're gonna wrap up these two paintings right here. And man, I'm excited about it. I wanna talk a little bit about some things that have been developing in the last, I don't know, week or two. Definitely the past week, few days, but we're gonna knock out these outlines. I've been working on these paintings now for last couple of weeks, but this style has been a little bit of a series that I started with drawings. Again, I've been doing these geometric composition drawings for the last 2 years. Started them on whiteboards with Expo markers. I love the chisel tip Expo markers, and so started doing these geometric compositions, and they were shapes that were extracted out of graffiti letters. And so I started doing these compositions, and I would kind of do it as a warm-up at work. You know, I'd get on the computer to do some drafting, CAD drafting, design work, and I would just kind of sit there and I'd maybe doodle some of these to get my brain engaged. And I ended up starting to take photos of them because I was like, man, I really like this. I want to remember it. And then I just left that company that I was with for the last 12 years. I'm currently not doing CAD drafting and design work at the moment. So I was sitting at home and I'm like, you know what? I think I should draw one of these and I think I should color it. And so I did, and I was like, wow, this is fire. And then all of a sudden, boom, I was like, let's paint one then. You know, if they look that awesome colored and people are into it, then let's paint them. And so now here we are, and I think these are it. So yeah, we're gonna crack out these outlines on here. And you know, with the outlines, I am, again, very particular to chisel tip markers, and there's a way in which I like to use them because it's all about flow and it's all about movement. And so something I struggled with coming to this new style of work, because my last style was a little different than this. It's lettering, there's still composition, but it was very strategic, very tedious, you know, blue tape, layer, chiseled it out with a blade, removed that mask, spray painted it, stuff like that. This, I want it to be all of the dance. It's very graffiti-esque, so I've yet to come across some type of brush, because again, I'm a graffiti guy, spray paint. I have a lot of experience with brush, but finding a mixture that can duplicate that kind of chisel, I've yet to find it yet and discover it. So for the meantime, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take wide chalk and outline it. So that's where we're at. I dropped the wide outline, or I dropped the chisel outline with chalk, and then I outlined it a little bit with white to kind of get the edges. And now I'm just literally gonna paint over it. So join me. I'm sipping on some of that Polar Seltzer Cranberry Lime for the probably, what is this, the third or fourth installment of the Rambling Residency. This is kind of cool. It's still a little blue though. I don't know if I like that. But yeah, we're just figuring it out. And I did a drawing today. Again, I started doing these composition drawings, coloring them and putting them out in little short reels on Instagram, and people seem to really like them, or at least Instagram, I should say. Instagram really likes it, because it started boosting them, and yeah, good things started happening. But you know, it's a good daily practice. Drawing is the foundation for my artistic practice, for sure. I mean, that's what I started doing when I was a very young kid with graffiti. was doing sketch compositions of graffiti pieces. My name, other names, blah, blah, blah. So like drawing has always been the foundation. And I've told this story many, many times, but when I came back to the craft, I took a hiatus for, probably a couple years. And when I came back to the craft, 05 into 06, like I had this experience, this connection with another older writer who sort of like by proxy was a mentor. And I learned some very fundamental lessons in composition and letter manipulation, but the foundation of that was sketching and drawing. I really needed to go back to the foundation. And so, drawing, it's no surprise that sketching and drawing is just one of those things where I found myself again sketching and drawing, and this kind of stuff comes out. So I did a drawing today, and I started out, I picked up this 4-pack of chisel outliners. I ran out of my last black one, so I needed to upgrade, needed to get upgrade. And so I got these new markers, and it was a 4-pack, and they came in color instead of just black. I was like, well, let's definitely switch it up. Let's get some red, some blue. This one came with green too, but the ink is not as thick as I wanted it, and I did my best, but it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it. And I think that's a good lesson for every artist, is that some days it's just not your day, man. And I was okay with that. I was able to rest into it. But what happened is I was able to kind of deviate in real time. And even in the video, like, I just kept going, and I turned it into something, and kind of came out, like halfway came out. And so all of this is just a really, really long way of saying that, if you just don't give up on something, if you have the experience, you tend to have this confidence. It's a confidence that comes from experience. And it's like one of those things where like you could just, that something's going to come out, or you could just trust that like you're going to be able to make something out of it somehow. And I think that's what I was able to accomplish with that drawing. So that's why I can do this. That's why I can, not know how to drop these really ultra juicy chisel outlines with something yet, but just know that I can find a tool and a resource like this chalk that will simulate that outline, and I can just fill it in to where it looks like an outline. And to be honest, that's going to be kind of, in the long run, that's probably going to be the cool part of this story, is that, the search led me to different things. And we all need that experience as artists. We need to think through things. We need to experience things in different ways to break up our mindset and see things differently than the way in which we were seeing it before. I think that's a crucial experience for all artists, is to step outside of their own little mental bubble and experience things, stretch their perception, stretch their thinking. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here, is just taking the time to do it in a different way than I would do it. I think that benefit of what I was doing with the markers, it's a comfort zone, it's a feel, it's a dance, it's an expression, it's a flow. And I think that flow is important. I think it's very important to be in that flow. But if I just stuck with that, flow, I would miss out on doing this right here, because I'd already be done outlining this piece. And for some reason in my life, at this very moment, God has impressed me to really slow down. And so as much as I want to just blast outlines, and I want this to just be a big, monstrous chisel marker, I can just gas this whole painting and be done and over with. That's not my place of growth. So yeah, we're just in this experience for what it is. We're going to sit in this experience of just painting, slowly filling in this here outline. Happy trees moment. So yeah, these paintings I probably would have easily been done with these paintings, 2 weeks ago, had I had the right tools, or had said tools that I wanted to have. It is what it is. We're still in discovery mode. I still have to remind myself, man, you're at the beginnings of this style. There's things you need to learn. There's things you need to experience. And these will be just a couple of paintings that are part of that process. And they'll have their own story to tell. This last weekend, in another noteworthy experience on my timeline, my timeline of life, I got together with a buddy of mine, who I've worked with before, but been good friends with now for a little bit, and very similar dude to me. So I just love being around my guy. Just same energy, same kind of get after it, alpha male, confident kind of energy, a very bro energy. And we went golfing. Had a lot of fun on a very beautiful Friday evening at the golf course. Just had a lot of fun out there. We got done and we sat down for a meal, and we got to talking about art and just kind of like where I'm at, where's sales at, like what my plans are, kind of things like that. And he's in sales. He's a mindset coach, professional speaker, professional sales professional. And we got to chatting and just talking about, yeah, he's curious about things. What's sales like? Like, what are you doing? Like, he's fascinated by, the people who are kind of my clientele, who have always been attracted to my work, because I do have a client profile, so to speak, a particular type of individual who seems to be a pattern of purchasing my works, collecting my work. So he's into that. He likes that kind of stuff, and we just got talking and chatting about things, and something really interesting came up in our conversation. We were exploring, kind of like, hey, like clarity around what it is that I want for my future, as far as like, am I selling my work? What do I want that to look like? What do I want it to look like? What do I want sales to look like? What do I want my role as an artist to look like? Like, what does that look like? My day-to-day as an artist. Like, is this my full-time? Is this just going to be a hobby? Like, where is it? And I think, obviously, we are definitely beyond the point of a hobby. I mean, I already have been. I've sold art, done shows, just live painting a lot at different auction events, and murals, and I haven't done it all, but I've certainly done a lot in my time. And so it was a good conversation to have, because it got me really revisiting, clarity. And that's something that my dude Kiva is really good at. And if you want to check out Kiva, he was the first guest on the open edition commentary here when I started the channel. So definitely give him a listen. The audio, I was still struggling to make sure audio was working good, so it's not the best, but you can hear us talking, and that's what matters. Is the conversation happened, and it came out great. We had a great conversation. There was epic wisdom that was dropped in that conversation. So I'm going to link that here to the notes, the little show notes here in the comment. We'll make sure that you can check that out. But he's really good. Kiva's really, really good at awareness. He's super good at awareness and clarity. So being aware, being clear on various different things. But we spoke about, I just was saying, man, like, in the past, I've done coaching, I've talked to people, like, you listen to people give you their quote unquote professional expertise, and you got to push sales, and you got to, like, as an artist, you got to push sales, and you got to, like, manage your studio, and you got to track your inventory, and you got to market and you got to do ads and all this other stuff. And it's like, dude, like, no, not everybody does that. Like, I don't want to be a one-man business. I never have. Like, that kind of stuff sucks the life out of me. And so I've gotten really, really clear that I'm not going to be pursuing like just calls and sales. Don't get me wrong, I love relationship. And that is primary to sales for sure, is relationship management, building relationships, building a network. But like at the end of the day, man, I gotta paint and I gotta be creative and I gotta do art. And so this is where I want to stay. I don't want to try to be this jack of all trades in entrepreneurship. Like, that's not my strength, man. I'm not doing that crap. And, you know, I also don't think that I have to suffer because of that. So I've gotten really clear that, you know, moving forward in this like art thing I'm doing, man, like I want to partner with people. And I am 100% open to creating relationships, strong business relationships that are mutually beneficial to people. For instance, you know, like I said, my man Kiva, he's brilliant at mindset, brilliant at sales, and you know, partnering with people like that is a blessing because that's their bread and butter, that's their strength, not my strength. So leverage your strength. Do you, and you know, be a team. So it really got me thinking, you know, like artists, we historically have kind of been kind of like that. Historically, a lot of us have been very creative, very very driven to explore and be in the experience of exploring. I think we need to be there. We need to live in exploration. We need to, like my man Troy said, or my man Niles, Troy, he said, you know, it's our job to communicate and experience outside of normal people's ability to perceive that experience. So that's where artists, we need to live. We need to live there. And, you know, if we're busy managing inventory and, you know, tracking a CRM, like, we're not doing that job. So I want to try to maintain my lifestyle of pursuit in those areas of exploration. Obviously, I mean, for a lack of better analogies, like, it's not like a hallucinogenic trip. It's not like taking, you know, a dose of mushrooms or something. You're not going to do that every single day of your life. You're not going to live there. So much the same thing. We're not going to live in this like crazy spaced out place permanently, but you know, you gotta explore. You gotta be out there a little bit at times, engaging with the world around you. And yeah, I want to continue to do that. Well, I must confess, so far, that as it's drying, I can already tell I'm not happy with it. And it's kind of unfortunate. Yeah. I might have just ruined this painting. Yeah. I really don't like this. And you know, I think today might just be an off day. You know what I mean? Like, not in flow. I did some projects earlier today at the house. So I was in the sun a lot. I was working, which is good. I like working with my hands. And my house is starting to look really beautiful because I've had a lot of this extra time to, you know, work on these house projects now that I'm technically unemployed. But yeah, I'm not feeling this, and that's challenging in this moment. I don't like it at all. I want so badly to just find the right tool that works for this, because this is not organic. This is too meticulous and too inconsistent for what I'm looking to create. And I don't know, maybe it's just that it's drying and I don't like it, but yeah, man, really a bummer. Maybe if I just persist. I mean, if it's take it this way, if it's technically ruined, right? If I consider this piece ruined, if I consider it to be beyond repair, similar to the drawing that I did this morning, then maybe this is a piece of wisdom to myself and maybe even to other artists out there. But if I'm technically past the point of salvaging a piece because it's ruined, or I feel like I ruined it, or it's not coming out the way I want, there's nothing I can do to change it, it is worthwhile to pursue it to the finish, because something can be revealed through the process of actually committing to the finality of something, the completion, to see what pops out. Or maybe I change my mood, my outlook, my perspective through the process of the painting. And, you know, my mindset shifts, my attitude changes, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I go, oh, well, it wasn't that bad after all. That can happen. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'll just persist with this until it's, So it's final, but really am not pleased with this outlining. I didn't want to do it. It is kind of like me just wanting to rush the outcome of the painting. I just want it to be done. And I've yet to find my tool of choice for outlining, and I might be paying for it. Or maybe as an artist, this is also a possibility. Maybe I'm just not skilled enough with a brush to be pleased with the outcome. I could just not be skilled enough with a brush. And that sucks too, because, you know, you want to be better than what you are, and now it takes time to learn. It takes time to practice, and there's no shortcut to practice. That is just hours, reps, and presence. So that's what this is going to teach me. I'm going to stay here and persist until I feel comfortable in painting. I feel comfortable in moving this brush much faster. I find the right brush that I can move in a way that feels good, feels comfortable, feels like I'm able to express what I want to express. Yeah. I don't know, but anyway, back to the subject of art business stuff. Yeah, I feel like it was no surprise that that conversation popped up at the time that it did. There's never any surprises when it comes to getting together with my man Kiva. It's always a divine, serendipitous experience to get together with him. There's always something good that comes out of it. You can always tell that God's in it. God's flowing in it, and you know, we're both just two guys in this presence of life, this experience of life, present and learning. And I really love that about our relationship, is we both are pretty hyper aware of that as we're kind of going through it. So much so that we'll be in the middle of a conversation and we're like, well, yeah, bro, there's no surprise that we're talking about this. Like, this is meant to happen. So yeah, I don't know I don't know what the next steps are, or what I need to do, who I need to talk to. But just to kind of extract some more ideas, I threw it in the old GPT to just extract some different prompts for me to engage my own thinking, to think through, and some really good things came out. Like, you know, it started throwing back like titles, like, you know, I didn't know what words to use, so I was like, you know, like, what does it look like to partner with a sales professional in, you know, in the art space, to help generate revenue and sales or something. I can't remember what exactly I said, but it popped up all these things, and at the very last sentence, the GPT was like, well, for your branding and positioning, you should not call it a salesperson. Here's a list of titles that, is blah, 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 blah. Because the chat GPT knows my preferences, and it knows I really like keywords and titling things. So it gave me like a list of like positions. Like if I was literally going to hire, for the position of a quote unquote sales professional, that would do commission sales for my artwork, who would, sort of manage client relationship stuff and help kind of build upon that. Like there were some good titles, and it got me thinking about some more things, about definitely the clarity around like what their role is. Something that I don't really, not a term that I say a lot because it's not my field, it's not in my thinking, but like different metrics, like some of you all will be familiar with like KPIs. Like, I don't even know what it stands for, but I know that it's like basically measurables as far as performance or particular outcomes. So what are the KPIs around somebody who's in that role and in that position, building relationships with collectors and clients to sell my artwork? What, like, how many sales leads per month? How many how many actual sales do they need to produce in order for me to justify particular levels of percentage ratings on their commission? Like, just different things that I've thought about before, I've visited before, but I don't really think about every day. So just really, really good to visit some of that thinking, and work to get some clarity on those things, because if it is God's will for me to continue on and actually pursue this thing as a career, those are things that I'm going to have to face, and those are conversations I'm going to have, and those are relationships I'm going to build, and I want to make sure that I'm clear on those things, and I'm happy with them, as well as whoever I'm working with and partnering with is clear and happy on them as well. Because again, I don't know, I didn't go to art school. I don't know anything about art businesses. Trial by fire is how I learned. So for now, the only thing that does matter is that I'm just here. I'm creating. I'm painting for today, and still trying to figure out how to confidently paint this style. Have it come to life in the way that's going to capture the energy, the true essence and spirit of that youthful, creative graffiti energy, because I don't feel like this slow brushwork is gonna do it. So for now, we'll just find out how this goes. I guess it doesn't look too bad. It could look worse. I'll probably feel better once I erase the chalk, right? Yeah. All right.